let's get some calls here. So the Justice Department has reversed its decision to actually penalize people for voter intimidation with video evidence to prove that the Black Panther Party were, in fact, stationed in front of polling places with weapons, throwing out racial slurs. Dominic, South Carolina, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Yeah, hi there.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling. I'm wondering, first of all, if you were to go into a voting poll and you saw a Black Panther dressed in paramilitary outfit with bearing a weapon, would you really be intimidated, and would you really not vote for John McCain?
It's not a matter of whether or not I would be intimidated. It's whether or not they were attempting to intimidate someone. Voter intimidation is unjust and illegal, regardless of whether someone feels the heat of the intimidation.
All right, and then secondly...
So you're making excuses for this. Why don't you just say you're making an excuse? Just say it. Just say it's an excuse. No. You're making an excuse. You asked me, Dominic, you asked me whether or not I'd be intimidated. The fact that I'm not intimidated does not mean the attempt to intimidate didn't take place.
Okay, was anyone actually intimidated?
That doesn't matter, sir.
It doesn't matter? Well, it kind of does if you're talking about filing a lawsuit. You have to have damages.
This wasn't about filing a lawsuit, sir. This was about the Department of Justice doing its job to protect voters from thugs who try to intimidate them. Just tell me you're making the excuse. Make the excuse. Go ahead. Make an excuse.
I'm not making any excuses. I'm saying the Department of Justice did their job. They looked at the facts. They said there was no harm, therefore there was no case.
So it would be okay. So what you're saying, sir, is if a group of skinheads were to stand in a predominantly black...
Are they intimidating because they're black with guns? Or why are they intimidating?
Because they're standing in front of a polling place with weapons, harassing people who are trying to enter the place. What the race of the intimidator or the intimidated is irrelevant. If you've got video evidence of someone seeking to intimidate someone at a polling place, sir, that is a crime.
No, you have to prove that they actually intimidated somebody.
Okay.
If you talk to anyone who...
Dominic, you're my favorite caller ever. Thanks for the call. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. Let's see. Who do we have here? John, Seattle. Go ahead.
Yeah. The term cracker is much less inflammatory to a white person than the N-word is to a black person.
We don't weigh racial slurs. If racial slurs are used in voter intimidation, then that one's a little less. That one's not near.
That 9 out of 10 of white people don't even know the term cracker is a racial term.
So if I used a racial term that for a person of color that I didn't know was a slur, would I get a free pass if I could prove that I didn't know? Like if I called someone macaca?
Well, how do you know that they're...
If I called someone macaca and didn't know that was a racist term, would I get a free pass?
Well, if it has no intent, if it has no impact on the person, I don't see how you could say it's a racial term. I don't even know what that word you just used means.
Well, it's St. George Allen. Thank you very much for the call. 1-866-95-PATRIOT, 1-866-95-PATRIOT. So we've got callers who are telling us that nobody was intimidated. That's like saying, you know what? He didn't get it in, so she wasn't raped. Yeah, he didn't get it in her. She wasn't really raped. You can't arrest the guy. All right, fine, we'll get him for attempted rape. The person didn't die. All right, so we'll get him for attempted murder. This is absolutely fascinating to me. Hearsay claims of Republican voter intimidation are reported and repeated as factual events of 2000 and 2004. Actual video evidence of Black Panthers with weapons in front of polling places is something that we can discuss and negotiate and downplay. Really? And apparently, this is not the only location where this happened. According to the Black Panther Party, they had 300 of these thugs out at different polling stations. So if they were paired up, let's say it was 150 different polling stations. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. Okay. So this is the new affirmative action. The new affirmative action under half-black Obama is that if you are a race baiter or an intimidator or a harasser or a lawbreaker, we decide whether or not you're guilty based on your race. This is the new affirmative action. So if you are a white male with a shaved head out front of a polling place, you're an intimidator. If you're a black man with a billy club out front of a polling place, not nearly as bad. Both are wrong. Both are disgusting. Both are illegal.